Hi there. Have you ever had to walk away from something already good just for a chance of something maybe greater? That is the most difficult decision ever. And it can keep us stuck for years. So, one thing that I walked away was a big thing for me to walk away from was I moved to a different country. I moved from Lithuania to US and I just followed what my mom's dream was. She passed away from cancer. My dad passed away prior to that. Heart condition and overdosing on alcohol. And I followed my mother's dream to be a musician and my grandmother's dream on my mom's side. I thought I'll be studying in US and be a musician, but they passed away and things kind of got difficult. And I ended up doing wellness and fitness and massage and skincare business eventually. Something I not anticipated ever when I was in high school. Never occurred to me that I would be in trades, it was like science, business, arts. That's what the cool kids did, not going to aesthetics massage school. But when you start living as an adult, things change. So living in Lithuania, I had to really make a decision when it finally came to it. Do I leave my country, And I left my grandmothers. They're still alive. One of them is going to be 100 next year, April 8, 2026. But, I knew that we live one time, and I knew I'd rather try something and not have it work out than regret not ever trying it. And it can come at the great sacrifice, but all work works, and might it not work right away, that risk you took, even if the failure you had is going to make you stronger for the next endeavor where you might not fail. So if you have to walk away from something to try something better, you have a calling. Because if it wasn't meant for you, you wouldn't have that even calling or questioning it. So if God puts you in a situation where you question whether you should do it, you should really consider that. And, sometimes it might not be the right choice, might not seem like the right choice at the time, but then later on it might be, okay, yeah, I was shooting for the moon, I landed among the stars, at least usually you end up on the stars, But again, you want to do calculated risks, it is sometimes a pipe dream. It can be a pipe dream, if you having unreasonable expectations that might not work out that great, right? Then you might end up homeless, living under the bridge if you really screw up. But probably not, because you're gonna learn from it, and then you can pick yourself up and start not from zero the second time around, but with that experience. And I think that's what's helping me now to keep going and have tenacity and reach towards success, is that I've had those failures, but among the failures I accumulated skills. So the sooner you fail, maybe the younger you are, the more you try to reach your dreams, the more skills you accumulate, and then later you will be actual success. And people that you see successful now, they educated themselves, they went through trials, tribulations, and they finally, accomplished it, because very rarely people strike luck from the first time. And if you follow the secure path, which is not so secure, which is go to high school, go to college, get a house, get a white picket fence, 2 kids, and live happily ever after, there's people that do follow that path, and they're happy doing it. But usually you're not going to be a trendsetter, an innovator of something new, great, and groundbreaking. Usually for bigger rewards, you have to take those bigger risks. You have to be willing to walk away from the safety, from the security, in order to serve on a greater scale, serve greater amounts of people, which in return translates, eventually it does translate into bigger financial reward. But at first you have to be willing to do that, take the risks, to do the hard work. And remember, those who don't risk don't drink champagne, even though I don't drink champagne. But it is a saying that I've heard. So if you're on the fence to do something, to walk away from something good enough, well, this job is good enough, but always dreamed of doing this or something else. It is a limited time that we have here on earth. We have less than we think, and I've shown that very early on. When I was 16, my mom passed away. When I was 19, my dad passed away, and I realized very soon, oh my God, we're here a very short time. And if you care about people's opinions, trust me, they don't care as much as you think they do, because people mostly care about themselves, their own goals, their own success, their own family, and what's in it for them. And while they will be nice to you or not nice at the moment, they might question you or even bully you for certain choices. At the end of the day, they actually don't really care. They're gonna move on to the next thing very fast. They're gonna wonder what's for lunch, what's for dinner, brushing their teeth. They're not gonna be obsessing over you. So don't care what others think, even your family. And if you have to walk away from those people, and if you have to, in order to be able to accomplish your dreams, you got to do that. And sometimes, they say you can't be prophet in your own village. So sometimes moving away, that actually helps to give you strength, because there's no one to judge you. Because old friends and family can slap a label on you, or you that type of person, or you can only do this type of career or this type of business. And then we feel like, we have this label on us where we can do something new, we cannot do something different. But if you move to a new place, nobody knows you, you can proclaim anything you want that you can be. You can have dreams and lifestyle that you never had, and nobody will care, nobody will know. They'll think that you always done that or been like that. So my suggestion is, if you have the desire to do something, go for it. Of course, like I said, do a calculated risk, but also evaluate what's the worst that could happen. You got to have a backup plan. Okay, if this happens, I'm going to drive for Uber. Worst case scenario, what are you gonna do? So, and as long as you're willing to go through the pain, sometimes it is the change occurs when the pain of staying where you are is greater than leaving. That's just easier, if it's painful where you are now. Like if somebody's beating you, you're gonna leave right away. But if it's just good enough, just like it's all right, then that's where the biggest danger is, to not grow personally, professionally. Even relationships that are barely just okay, you stay in them even though they're not great. That is the most dangerous place to be. Feel safe, familiar. Familiar devil is, people will choose familiar devil than something great that they're not familiar with, because also self-doubt comes in. We're self-doubting. Can I do it? What if it doesn't work out? Well, what if you were not born? You're like one of how many probabilities that you could have not been born? Probably trillions, just the fact that you're here is a miracle, and just the fact that we wake up breathing and alive every day, it's a miracle in itself. So how can we use that same every single day for the best purpose, for the most we can grow, the most we can accomplish? I'm not saying go crazy. You still want to have good life-work balance to a degree, even though that's a bit myth when you're pushing really hard to grow something like a company. But, I mean, like, you gotta leave some time for exercise, eating healthy, because then it becomes counterproductive. If you're not getting enough sleep, you're not gonna have great performance. You're not gonna feel good and look good, and you're gonna start age faster. So I wanted to make this video for someone, if you're like on the fence and you're not sure, should I leave something that's okay but I'm not super passionate about? What should you do? It's a tough decision, but it's a dangerous place to be, to stay. Strive for your dreams, my friends, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a brilliant day. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.